The story begins in the quiet streets of Pretoria, in a place where dreams often feel bigger than the surroundings. On March 27, 1997, a boy named Lelagonolo Ronald Mataboj was born, a name that carried weight, history, and expectation. But the world would come to know him by a different name, Reece. Growing up in Gauteng in areas like Danville, life was not handed to him on a silver plate. The environment shaped him, raw, real, sometimes harsh. But like many young boys surrounded by struggle and sound, he found escape in music. Not just listening, but creating. By the time he reached grade 8, something had already clicked inside him. He wanted to be a rapper. It wasn't a random dream. It was influence, energy, and observation. His older brother, connected to the rap scene, became part of that spark. The culture around him, the ciphers, the local sounds, the stories, began to form his identity. The beginning of a name names carry meaning, and Reece chose his carefully. Inspired by his star sign, Aries, and a deeper interest in identity and individuality, he crafted a name that felt like both a brand and a statement. Before fame, before recognition, there was just a young boy experimenting. His early track, Casper Picture, was inspired by Casper Nyovest, showing how much local legends influenced him. He wasn't just copying, he was studying, watching, learning the blueprint, then slowly rewriting it. A young star emerges at only 16 years old. Reece caught the attention of producers and got signed under Raw X Productions. That moment changed everything. He was no longer just a kid with a dream. He was now inside the system, the industry, the machine. Soon after, he joined Ambitious Entertainment, one of the biggest labels in South African hip-hop at the time. It was here that his name truly began to echo across the country. Then came the breakthrough. The single Asterisk, Could featuring MT dropped, and suddenly Reece wasn't underground anymore. He was a national name. The song wasn't just a hit, it was a statement. Smooth, emotional, lyrical. It introduced a new voice in SA hip-hop. One that wasn't loud for the sake of it, but powerful in delivery. Paradise and Pressure. In 2016, he released his debut album Paradise Asterisk. This wasn't just an album, it was his introduction to the world. Tracks like Mgani and Could built his identity as a storyteller, someone who could mix pain, ambition, and melody into one sound. But behind the music, things weren't perfect. The industry that had given him a platform began to show its darker side. Contracts, money disputes, control. Reece, still young, found himself in conflict with Ambitious Entertainment. And then something bold happened. He left walking away to find himself. Leaving a major label isn't easy, especially when you're young and rising. But Reece chose independence over comfort. The fallout was messy. Music videos were removed. Pages were deleted. Public tension grew. But instead of fatting, he fought back through music. Tracks like Loyal became his voice, his way of telling his side of the story. There were even tensions with MT, turning into one of the most talked about rivalries in SA hip-hop at the time. For many artists, that moment could have ended everything. For Reece, it was just the beginning. Brotherhood and reinvention. After leaving the label, Reece didn't isolate himself. He built something new. Together with close collaborators like Mash Beats, he formed a collective called the Wrecking Crew. This was more than a group, it was a movement, independent, creative, free. In this space, he released From Me to You and Only You in 2017, a project that showed growth, not just musically, but emotionally. He wasn't just rapping anymore. He was reflecting growth, pain, and consistency. Over the next few years, Reece stayed consistent. Projects like Asterisk Long Lost Letters L3, with Echo and Words, and I'm Only 21 Asterisk Reece Effect Asterisk, each one showed a different layer of him. His struggles, his mindset, his evolution. He wasn't chasing trends. He was building a legacy. A global step forward. In 2021, Reece made a major move, signing a distribution deal with Platoon, an Apple-owned company known for developing global artists. His mixtape Asterisk Today's Tragedy, Tomorrow's Memory gained international attention, even being featured in major publications. This was no longer just South Africa. The world was watching. The Big-Hearted Bad Guy. By 2023, Reece had fully stepped into his power. His album P2, The Big-Hearted Bad Guy, debuted at #1 in South Africa, a clear sign that independence had worked in his favor. The title itself felt like a reflection of his journey. Asterisk big heart right arrow emotional, real, vulnerable asterisk bad guy right arrow misunderstood. Independent, rebellious he had become both business as usual in 2025. He dropped business as usual asterisk, continuing his momentum, even releasing around the same time as Nasty C, showing he was still competing at the highest level. Years later, he was still here, still relevant. Still evolving beyond music. Reece isn't just a rapper. He's a brand. He has worked with major clothing brands like Vans, representing style and youth culture beyond music. His life outside music includes relationships, including being linked to Raquel Jones and previously actress Natasha Thahane. But more than anything, he remains private, focused, and intentional. The legacy from a young boy in Pretoria to one of South Africa's most respected lyricists. Reece's journey is about more than fame. It's about independence over control, growth through struggle, staying true in a changing industry. He didn't follow the system. He broke away from it and built his own. Final scene. Picture this: a quiet room, a mic, a beat playing softly. Reece stands there, not as the boy who started, but as the man he became. Every lyric carries years of experience. Every pause holds a story. And somewhere in Pretoria, another kid is listening, thinking, if he did it, maybe I can too.